Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so I am excited for this video. This is the first video that I've been excited about, or I don't know if the word motivated is the right word, but it's been a long time. I mean, easily 3 months, maybe even longer, that I felt this good about something I wanted to say. So I've been going through this really, it's not a weird shift, but it's kind of a weird, awkward, rough kind of shift, okay? And I had a huge breakthrough about 3 nights ago. Now, it's something that was within me that had me locked up, and I'm like, I don't understand, blah, 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 blah. Why is this not working? It is something that I have struggled with my entire life, and I'm not going to put it in this video. I might make it in the next video. And it seems like such an obvious thing, and it's something that logically I understood. Logically, my pastor told me about. Logically, my friends or, life coaches or people I've gone to, therapists, like, well, Michael, you got to understand, blah, 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 blah. This is the way it is. And I did. And I made huge shifts in my life. I even moved away from my entire family, friends. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, because there was something that had constantly happened in my life that I didn't understand. Like, what am I missing? Like, I logically understood what people are saying. I took huge real life steps to make a shift in it, and it got better, but there was still this piece of it that just didn't work. Now, this change in my understanding, it opened something up in me. It is what's stimulating this video right now, and the shift that I've been slowly going through, I've been talking about avoidance and stuff like that. I noticed my videos have been kind of scattered, all kind of left, right, and trying to put the pieces. And recently, I haven't been able to put the pieces together like I did, say going back 2 months and more, where it's like, wow, boom, 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 like pieces just fit together. By the end of the video, you could see the big picture. So what happened was, I went to an energy healer about 2 weeks ago, someone I've known for a long time. And when you go through this, it's like you clear out the negativity so the issue can come up. So in the last 2+ weeks, I've had this really kind of blurry, and this isn't just the last 2 weeks. This is something that's probably going to extend back 2 months or more, probably more than that. And there's something that happens, something that hurts, something that click, and all of a sudden, boom, I've got it. So when you go through these clearings, it's usually not comfortable. It's usually sad, or there's shame or guilt or hurt, or it's like a sense of just almost depression and confusion. And so I felt like I was lost. It was like, here's what it was. My path was shifting. There were new realizations coming up that I've absolutely had. This issue I'm telling you about, I bet a lot of you have had, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're a light worker and you're a nice person and you've heard it a million times. I'm going to make another video about it. What I'm trying to say is, I even realized 2+ weeks ago, when I was kind of in the muck, I still made videos. I'm like, hey, I'm going to dig through this. And I noticed, like, my videos were not, and please forgive me if they seem like they weren't crystal clear, if they didn't make sense, if they weren't clicking. It was a muddy kind of thing, and that's what happens when you go through a clearing. It's kind of this muddy, unclear, but it's like, now I'm on the next level. Some people call it change, like your timeline. You shifted to another timeline, and during that shift, the transformation is going to be awkward. It's going to be blurry. It's going to be foggy. It's going to be mucky. It's going to be muddy. And once you get on track, once you get onto this new track, all of a sudden everything starts to make sense. And in this video, I'm going to share something else that makes sense now more than ever. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? What we're going to talk about is something that avoidants do, but it's only being used as an example for all of us because we do it too. And it's not just avoidance. And now I'm like, well, empaths do it, but it's in a completely different form, like in a different room. Like, we do some things that really screwed us up for many years. And a lot of us are finally starting to come out and go, wait a minute, that wasn't a really good belief. That belief got me into a lot of trouble. Like, yeah, sure, it's nice, but man, that blinded me to reality. So what this video is about, it's going to be about the limitations that we have in our mind that we don't even know are there, but we begin to see them because we get hurt so bad, and we see it again and again. That pop goes the weasel. We see it like, wow, this is a real challenging belief. Like, I'm not going to give it away yet. Now, the reason why I'm making this video and why you're listening is because we want to become aware of these limiting beliefs and these unconscious limiting actions we do inside our brain that hold us back and block us from our own happiness, success, and love in life. These are some of the things that we do unconsciously that block ourselves, that we do, that we're not even conscious of, that keep us from living a fulfilling and meaningful life, getting the most out of life. How we're going to do this is we're going to use a couple of the learnings we learned from NLP. One of them is going to be the Milton model. It's a Milton Erickson. He had a very specific way of working with clients. So we're going to use mind reading. I'm going to explain that again, but then I'm going to explain complex equivalence and give you some examples on how I've heard people do it, how I've done it to myself, and how you have done it to yourself as well. Now, the what if, or if you have any questions, you can ask them at the very end of the video. You can put them in the comment section, and or I can answer them directly or possibly make a video. So you might be asking the question, for what purpose? So you can break free from all of your unconscious internal limitations that are holding you back. This is why Jesus and Buddha said, look within. So you can live free of fear, free of worry, free of all the limiting bullshit that you were learned as a child, that was put on you, from guilt trips to all kinds of stuff. This is it right here. I'm feeling, it's not really elation, it's a sense of freedom. It's like, finally I broke free from the final chain of what was holding me back. My body physically feels loose and relaxed. So it's a subject which I'll talk about hopefully in the next video, but it was about something that I've learned about, I knew about. I made big steps more than 2 decades ago to get away from people that were using me and blah, blah, blah. It was something inside me that there was a piece of the puzzle that I still didn't see, I didn't understand, and I now realize even the people that are telling me, they don't see it. So a lot of times I get clients that, I understand what you're saying, Mike. I'm like, no, I don't want you to logically understand. I want you to have a physical, visceral, emotional experience of it so you can make a shift on that level. Because if you have a logical understanding of it, that means you only get 7% of it. You need to get the rest of it, the 93%. That's going to have impact on your life. That's what's going to change everything. It's not a logical shift. It's not a logical understanding. It's an emotional understanding that gives you an emotional, physical shift in your life. This is what I'm trained in, and this is what I do. We go inside and we find out the limitations that are holding you back, and then we break them. We don't necessarily break them, but we give you realizations of, wait a minute, I believe that my entire life. When you can see it on an emotionally deep level and have an emotional, physical experience of what you're understanding, all of a sudden everything begins to shift. I've been trying to find a way to explain to you guys the work that I do. Now, people who work with me are blown away. They're just like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that. Like, make quick shifts inside your brain. Some of them might take a little bit of time. You might have to learn other things. You might have to have other shifts. But what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people, it's like explaining this to someone who's never felt it and gone through it. It's kind of like talking to a brick wall. But I believe in what I've just shared with you gives you a real solid idea of what it is, the work that I do with people. Now let's get into it. So I've had some realizations. I had a gut feeling there's something going on with avoidance, something that I needed to learn, something that I needed to understand to shift everything. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Avoidants are going through the same thing that empaths are going through. They are our brothers and sisters because they were abused by narcissists, just in a different way. Avoidance parents essentially didn't want to deal with them. They didn't want to have to put any effort or time into correcting them. And, hey, don't do that. You're being a bad kid. They didn't want to take the time to break things down, to explain things, to discipline them. They just kept telling them, be independent, take care of yourself, don't rely on others. In other words, I don't want to help you. I'm too lazy. I just want to sit down and watch TV. And when they need them, well, they have trained avoidance to be used just like empaths. There's a very, very similar line here. We went down a very similar path, but we were turned into two different types of people, slaves essentially. As an empath, what were you always taught? You were always taught to do for others, to be there for others, to always help your neighbors, to always help. But you were also taught not to be able to receive help. And I bet a lot of you have given your heart and soul to your family, your children, your husbands, your friends, your neighbors, and you got very little back. In fact, if anything, when you asked for a morsel of help, I bet they looked at you like, wow, that's all you do is ask for help. And they don't even recognize everything that you've done for them. And for the life of you, throughout your entire life, you're like, I don't understand. Why is it that people always ask me for help, but they never give me help when I need it, even if it's the smallest little thing? One of the things that avoidance went through is people always needed them and made them feel guilty. Oh, I need you. And they would work for them. They would cook for them. They would do everything for it. So the avoidant was the one who did for everybody and no one did for the avoidant. Does that sound familiar, empaths? Now, here's another thing that empaths went through. Now, I thought it was just me. I started realizing it when I was going through my NLP trainings about what mind reading is, what complex equivalence and all these things in the Milton model. And I went, wait a minute. I was taught to always see the good in people. Does that sound familiar, guys? And as I got older, and I really want to say in the last 7+ years when this whole narcissist thing started coming out, I started meeting other people that, like, you know, I could see it in them. Like, I'm like, why are you so nice to that person? They're mean to you. Oh, what are you talking about? They're the nicest person in the world. I don't understand why you're saying that, Mike. Now, I look back on, usually we see it with women, but men go through it too. A buddy of mine with my ex-girlfriend in my 20s, she's like, dude, what do you see in her? She's so mean to you. Mike, you need to get away. Hell, my energy healer would be like, dude, you need to get the hell away from your girlfriend. She is not being nice to you at all. She's like, Michael, that's not love. I'm like, oh no, and all I saw was the good in her, because my mother, the narcissist, all she ever told me as a child, and not even as a child, I'm telling you, if she was still alive, I will bet you $1,000 for real. Because I used to make bets with my friends like $20 and $40. I'm telling you, I'm going to introduce you to my mom. Within 15 minutes or less, I swear to you, she's going to give you the Adolf Hitler, Charlie Manson speech. And he's like, what? Here's the thing, now that I understand hypnosis, my mom would lean forward at the table and look at my friend, or even me, and say, you've always got to see the good in people. No matter how bad they are, no matter how bad of a life they've lived, no matter what they've done, you've always, keyword always, because when you're always, that's 100%, which means you're getting blinded from seeing the other side. Because you have to always see the good in people. My mom would say this to me. If she were still alive and I went to visit her on my own for lunch, say tomorrow, and nobody else was there, I could record the damn thing, and within 15 minutes she would go into this speech, which usually lasts for about 15 minutes or more. It's hypnosis. I remember my friend, my energy healer, would just like, Michael, you need to get away from these people. What's wrong? Like they didn't understand. Like, I couldn't see it. And the typical thing in the 80s and 90s, we're now becoming more aware, especially in the last 10 years, that men have been going through this too, but it's the woman who their husband or boyfriend cheats on them, lies to them, maybe even hurts them physically, and everyone's like, get away. They're like, no, you just don't see the other side. Like, they're a really good person. Well, usually those kind of women were empaths that were raised by a narcissistic parent or sibling who would give them the always speech. So I brought my buddy Greg over. He's the one in that main video where a lot of people subscribed that I made years ago, where he let me live with him. He pulled me out of my family. He said, you need to get the fuck away from these people. And he literally opened my bedroom window, and luckily he backed his truck up at the parking lot, just luckily at the right spot. He started throwing my clothes and my pillows, my covers into the back of the bed of his truck, and he said, you're living with me. And he said it right in front of my mom and my family. He goes, well, it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but it's the same guy. So I bet him, I think it was 20 bucks, I think it was 40 bucks because Greg has, he had more money back then. Back in the 90s, 40 bucks is a pretty good bet. And I knew I was going to win. I mean, hands down, because it never fails. So I introduced him to my mom and said, hey man, she's going to give you the Charlie Manson and Adolf Hitler speech. He says, what are you talking about? I go, dude, she's going to convince you that no matter how bad someone is, even if it's Charlie Manson, you've always got to look for the good in them. So we're at the table, 5 minutes, and she, oh, hey, you know, we're Italian. So, oh, let me make you a sandwich, or hey, let me give you some food, or some salami and dip and cheese and, you know, whatever. And we're kind of eating and casually talking, and then boom, she leans forward, looks him dead in the eye, and she says, no matter how bad someone is. And this speech went on for a while. It wasn't like a 2-minute speech. I'm going to give you the shortened version. Even if it's Charlie Manson, no matter how much bad they've done in their lives, you've always got to look for the good in them. Even if it's a little, she didn't say this, but it was like, even if it's a little tiny morsel, they did one good thing when they were 3 years old. And she goes, even Adolf Hitler, he's got good in him too. And you've got to find that. You've got to look for it until you find the good in them. Now, if you've listened to my past videos, the reason why she did that was because she was a narcissist and she wanted to basically hypnotize you, brainwash you to only see the good in her while she's abusing the crap out of me and possibly you. So a lot of empaths, we've lived our lives this way, getting abused and used and treated like shit by a lot of people, and we would only return it with love and goodness and helping them with their work or with their problems or helping them clean out their garage or move their car or fix their car or whatever, only to get treated like shit, and they never helped us in return. So a lot of you married women, you are divorced now and you regret the hell out of it, as the rest of us do too. Now, there's something I'm leading up to here. It's going to be about an NLP thing. I'm trying to go as fast as I can to kind of skip through some stuff here. Okay, so there's a purpose I'm sharing all this. I'm going to go back to avoidance to show it when you can look. Because a lot of times when I teach it to you and you're like I'm saying, well, this is what you do, you won't see it. But if I can show it to you and someone else, then you're going to then unconsciously reflect back to you and be like, wow. And you can see how unconsciously you've been doing that to yourself. Alright, so let's get into it. So the first one is called mind reading. Mind reading is really simple. Now in the last video I talked about this. I'm going to try to really simplify it, kind of get to the point. So there's something called presuppositions. So in a sentence there are things that are inherently presupposed. Otherwise you couldn't understand the sentence. Now here's what I mean. So you could say the dog ran to the front of the room. Okay, so first of all, what's presupposed in existence is, yeah, there's a dog, okay? And then it says it ran, so the dog ran. So we know that. And we also know there's a front of the room. We also know it's inside of a room. And since there's a front of the room, there's also a back of the room. Okay, so let's not get too complicated. So let's keep it really simple. That's what was literally stated in the sentence, okay? Now, if you said the dog ran fast, well, that would be a mind read, because nowhere in the sentence did Tom tell us that his dog ran fast or that his dog was fast. Because you could have mind read and assumed, oh, well, the dog must be fast. No, it didn't say he ran fast. It could have ran squiggly. He could have ran super slow. He could have stumbled and bumbled, but it didn't say any of those things. So therefore, we can't assume this is what that sentence meant because it wasn't stated within the sentence. So if you say anything outside of the sentence, that's a mind read. Okay, so now there's something that's called a complex equivalent. Complex equivalent, essentially, it's like when you have the equal sign in between two things. So it essentially means this means that, or this is that. So one of the complex equivalents that I had was whenever a girl would smile at me, I thought they were going to hurt me. Now, I told you about it at the mall. I was with my friend's sister and him and his mother. And the mother said, Michael, you should go say hi to that cute girl. She's smiling at you. And I went, no way. Now, this was in the last video or the video before this. And she goes, why? And I'm like, she's going to hurt me. And she goes, how do you know? And I go, because she smiled at me. I used to really believe that when a girl or a female was smiling at me, they were going to hurt me, because I had learned in the past, whenever a girl smiles at you, she's about to hit you or hurt you or embarrass you or hurt you emotionally. So in my mind, this meant that female smiling at me means pain is on the way. Did this affect my dating relationship life? Oh, hell yes it did. I lived in constant fear. Now, here's the funny thing. This is very, very similar to what an avoidant goes through. It's a different subject, but very parallel almost. An avoidant truly believes that if they open up emotionally, they're going to get hurt. So when they're with you, they stay closed, they stay up, and they do. A lot of avoidances, especially dismissive, they're stuck on their forehead. They're kind of got this snooty kind of better than you, and they're judging you, and they even talk that way too, by the way. You like this. Like, oh, okay, and they talk like that. The reason why they do it is because they got their heart closed, and they're hiding in their logic or behind their logic from their emotions, so they don't get hurt. So one of the things that they learn as a child is that if you open up, they're gonna hurt you, because dismissive avoidance parents, or avoidance parents in general, they're kind of harsh people. They're kind of mean. They kind of bark at you and yell at you. They don't think before they speak. They say harsh things out there, and they tell you, opening up your heart, you're just going to get hurt. You're just going to get taken advantage of, and they begin to believe this means that. Now, when I was a child, my mother used to tell me when I was a little kid, and she truly believed this. I do not think this was a narcissistic technique at all. She went through a really rough divorce. They both lost both the restaurants and both of the bars that they took years and years and years to build up. And they lost everything in the divorce. It's a horrible story. And my mom was very hurt and very angry, and she told me, the more money you have, the more stress you have. Money is stress. That's a complex equivalent. This it equals that. So anytime you got the equal signs, it means A is the same as B. 4 equals 4. Now, here's something that avoidants go through, and I really shouldn't say that because I've gone through it, you've gone through it, people that are completely secure have gone through it, it's something that our brain does. It deletes, distorts, and generalizes things, okay? Because we couldn't handle all the information. The problem is when we get stuck in these programs such as this means that when it doesn't at all, because, okay, let's be honest, do you really think that if a female smiles at a guy that automatically means across the board throughout the world that she's out to hurt him? No, it's just not true. Now, logically, as I went through NLP, we came across this teaching that we're talking about lost performatives, generalizations, complex equivalent, and all this stuff. This is distortions, right? This is the delete, distort, and generalize. So a complex equivalent is a form of distortion. Your brain distorts something that's not really that distorted. Yes, sure, I did have a lot of women in my life, or females, hurt me really bad, and they would always smile right before they did it. But that doesn't mean that all women are going to be that way. So when you distort it and generalize it to meaning all, that's where you start getting screwed up in life. So unconsciously in your brain, boom, a female smiles at you, boom, oh shit, I'm out of here. Guess who else does that? Yep, avoidance. But they do it when they open up their heart to you. So if they start getting close to you, and here's what I just watched a video 4 days about this, saying, you know how you know an avoidant loves you? Is you have this great time, you have this great date, and then you don't hear from them for about a week or a month. It's because they got scared, they opened up emotionally. Because to them, being intimate, open up emotionally, feeling love, means now they're at risk of getting damaged and hurt. They believe also that opening up emotionally and being intimate means they're gonna lose their independence. And what did their parents tell them all the time? Be independent, take care of yourself, stand on your own 2 feet. So what an avoidant has essentially in their mind is open-hearted, emotional intimacy, loving someone, feeling love means danger. This means that. That is absolutely not true. Sure, Some people, like a narcissist, is going to do that. See, okay, you want to know the reason why narcissists screw with everybody? Is so nobody loves nobody, so nobody opens up to nobody. That's what's going on in the world right now and has been going on for a long time. Another lesson that's being taught is to avoid. Alright, so let's take people smiling at me and then hurting me. Here's what happens in your brain when this happens again and again and again, especially at a young age, for years. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, these people, when they smile at me, that means they're about to hurt me. So what happens is you just avoid those people because you're like, So here's the funny thing: I would actually date people that were sad, that were depressed, that never smiled because I didn't feel like I was going to get hurt. And usually those are the people who depressed you, brought you down, and took the hurt out on you. Usually the happy, smiling people are actually the good people. They're the ones that aren't going to hurt you. Now what? Okay, watch this. Have you ever guys heard like the whole narcissistic thing and the people at the very top, what the number one tool that they've mastered is to, and how they conquer is divide and conquer. They've got every race divided against each other, every sexuality divided, every religion is divided against each other. I mean, religions, even Christian religions, are divided against each other, from Baptist to Mormon to Lutheran to, Seventh-day Adventist. Oh no, they're going to hell. Oh, the church down the street, my pastor literally said this. Even though they're the same as us, they're going to hell because they don't quite get. It's like everyone against everyone. That's how they stay in power. And that's how the narcissist controlled you for so long. They got you to be not only divided from your friends and family, but also divided inside yourself. I noticed about 3 years ago making these videos that, wait a minute, so now women think all men are bad. Now men think all women, women are just cheaters, women are just this, and women this, and it's not true. There are good people out there. So what they do is they'll hurt you and hurt you and hurt you. So you date one girl, then another girl, then another, and it's like, holy shit. So a lot of people, when you come out of narcissist abuse, when you become conscious of it, you're like, wait a minute, I dated a lot of narcissists. Yeah, because they studied you. They went after you. They got close to your friends. They convinced your friends to convince you to go out with them, and on and on. Or even you had friends that were narcissists that would set you up with other narcissists. Like, this was not an accidental thing. This was very purposeful. You know all about the stalking and how they study you beforehand, and how narcissists have connections to other narcissists. Narcissists can see other narcissists. They're very aware of each other, where we're completely oblivious to them. Or were. So what ends up happening, well, admit it, a lot of you on this channel, I'll never be in a relationship again. That's because you haven't learned how to see the red flags, and more importantly, when you meet a good person, you think they're a bad person because other people that replicated these people, or these smiles and these images and the way they talk, hurt you because they know that if they see. Okay, let's look at love bombing. Love bombing is exactly what it's like when you fall in love with someone. It's exactly like it's the same thing. So now you're going, wait a minute. If you become conscious of this, because I did, and I said, wait a minute, so how can you tell the difference between love bombing and genuine love? Like, this doesn't make sense. Because when you first meet someone, it goes fast. You're excited. You're happy. You want to call them. You want to talk all night. Blah, 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 blah. There is a difference. I'm not going to get into that in this video. Essentially, there's a drop-off, and it's like a cliff. It's boom. Whereas genuine love, it kind of slowly goes down over a period of time. And it doesn't go into that overly abusive, dismissive, like cut you down, like narcissists do to you, like hurt your self-esteem, etc. The devaluing phase. It doesn't go from love bombing to boom, one day devaluing. It just doesn't do that. So the goal is to get you to where you don't even date the good people, and not only not date the good people, but to when you meet a good person, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this before. They're smiling at me. They're pretty. Oh, they're love bombing me, and this is actually a genuine person who genuinely loves you. But in your mind, you just generalize or distort. This means that. Complex equivalent. The more money you have, the more stress you have. Complex equivalent. That's not true at all. So you know how they tell you in church, like, you shouldn't curse the Lord's name, you shouldn't say, like, God damn it, or anything like that, and that's a sin, and you're going to hell, and oh my God, how could you do that, oh, and all that stuff. So what I notice a lot of Christians will do is, oh, God bless it, and they do it in a very angry tone. Well, they may not realize it, but that's the same thing as cursing God, because you're doing it in an angry tone. And what do you really mean when you say God bless it? You're saying, well, Michael, I replaced that instead of saying God damn it. So yeah, instead of saying God damn it, you're saying God bless it, which means the same thing as God damn it. Now you might be going, wait a minute, he said this means that. That's a complex equivalent. It is, and you would be right. But it's completely fake. I literally just made that up. But admit it, for a split second there before I said that, you were thinking, wow, that's pretty messed up to take the Lord's name in vain by saying God bless it. I literally just took the phrase God bless it, and I convinced you for a moment, and if I wouldn't have even admitted it, you would have never even realized it. And for the rest of your life, you would have heard someone saying, God bless it. And you would have been like, man, you're taking the Lord's name in vain. You're a sinner. You're going to hell. Do you see now, as you look back on your life, you're like, well, my father said this. He said this means that. And you never even question it. You just blindly accepted it into your brain, and for the rest of your life you lived by a belief that may have disempowered you. The goal here isn't to say don't have any beliefs. The goal here is to find out, well, does that support you or does that disempower you? We want to shift anything that disempowers you, any complex equivalents or mind reads or anything, and shift it to where it empowers your life. The real goal is to become conscious of, oh, that's a mind read. Oh, that's a complex equivalent. Is that true or is it not? For example, if you put your hand in a shark's mouth, he's going to bite it off. That's pretty damn true. So that complex equivalent is probably true, and it's probably going to empower you if you took the message of don't put your hand in a shark's mouth because he's going to bite it off. That would be an empowering belief. But to believe that anytime you open your heart up to someone, that means you're vulnerable, and that's going to leave you, it's going to take away your independence. It might be true for some people that are control freaks, people that need therapy. It might be true of narcissists who do that on purpose. There might be some truth to it. But if you generalize that and distort it to mean all people, anytime you open your heart to them means they're going to hurt you, they're going to attack you, they're going to control you, they're going to take away your freedom, that's not empowering at all. That just leaves you in isolation all by yourself. Now, to start seeing your complex equivalences and where you mind read, where you distort stuff, that will help you see it clearly and go, you know what, is it true that all people that smile at you are going to hurt you? Has anyone ever smiled at you and not hurt you? And you're like, well, yeah, of course. So you're sitting, and by the way, that is one of the questions that we ask people to kind of pop them out of that blind assumption of distortion of, well, this means that. So you're going to ask them, does that mean that every time someone that does that, that's what they're going to do? No, of course not. So now you're starting to unravel. It's what do they call it? Yarn, where it like gets in a ball of knots, and you got to take one piece out at a time and find another piece and pull that out, and you slowly become more and more free and empowered. It's like taking the foot off the brake and putting it on the gas. Now you can go. What I've shared with you today is what I do for a living. What I do is watch you, I listen to you, I pay attention to what you say, the way you say it, and how you say it, and I'll ask you questions like, so what does that mean to you? And if it's a negative meaning or something that does not empower you, I'm going to work on it. We're going to unravel that, and we're going to shift it into a different perspective where, number one, where you can see it clearly, like, yeah, that's absolutely not true. Not all people that open their heart to me or all people that I feel love from are going to hurt me or control me. That's just not true. Now, here's the second part that I think NLP and life coaching and all that stuff leaves out, or they miss, because I've done this a lot and I was still terrified going, yeah, but, and I didn't know what it was until 5 years ago. I didn't know how to see who was going to hurt me and who wasn't going to hurt me, and that is the key. Now, someone on here asked a question a while back. It wasn't too long ago. I think it was within the last month, and they said, "Hey, well, what are the red flags of a narcissist? Like, how do you know?" Well, one thing I'm going to tell you right now, I would just Google narcissist red flags, or what are the red flags of a narcissist, and right up it'll come up with a list. I've kind of gotten away from narcissist abuse, but I might actually do a series of videos on the narcissistic cycle and red flags. Now, obviously, over the years, I have taught all of this, but I didn't do it in a very specific step one all the way through, and I might actually do that, because I've given a bunch of red flags and taught you how to see them, how to tell the difference. But I haven't done it in a step one, step two, step three kind of way, to where I can kind of put that away somewhere where you can find it and just go through the whole series. Now, here's the other part, which I think the avoidance completes the circle. If you watched my last 4, 5, 6 videos, you've noticed that I've stated, well, wait a minute, avoidants are actually doing the same techniques that narcissists are doing, but they're not doing it to hurt you. So now I'm even more confused, Mike. So now the next step is to begin to see the differences in red flags. Like, oh, this person is trying to attack me and hurt me. These people are hurt individuals who need support. They're not here to attack me. The ultimate goal is to just see people for who they are in the moment, without making any mind reads, guesses, distortions, deletions, generalizations, or assumptions. To see each person in the very moment for who they truly are in that moment. This is called consciousness, seeing it for the way it is in the moment. That is God's goal for all of us. That's why we're here. That's why we're going through what we're going through, is to wake up. Not from a belief, not from a filter, and not from your past. This is what I teach men in my course, Cracked Female Code, about women. A lot of men want to look at women and say all women are the same. Mike, tell me, what's the right thing to say? I'm like, well, it really depends on who you're talking to. If you heard me laughing, it's because women are different. The other thing is, women change their moods depending on the day, depending on, are they at work, are they at lunch, are they in essential mood? It depends on where she's at in the moment. This is why canned, memorized lines and openers, etc., they don't always work. Did someone just die? Did she just get a raise? Did she win a trophy? It depends on where she's at in the moment. So instead of blindly memorizing lines and openers, I teach you how to see her for who she is in the present moment, which means I have to teach you to learn how to be in the present moment. Because people change, people's emotions change, different things happen. Even men, you change all the time, all day long. It depends on where you're at in the moment. Well, I'm not going to do it in this video. I have done it in the past 4, 5, 6 videos. But the difference is this. Narcissists are doing it to trap you, to catch you, so they can punish you, so they can destroy you, so they can hurt you viciously. Avoidance, let's take one thing. They are fault finding, which is very similar, if not the same as devaluing you. But it's called fault finding because they're stepping back, they're stepping away. They're looking for reasons of why this relationship won't work. Because when they open up to you emotionally, they're going to need an excuse to run. Not trap you, not hurt you, not attack you. Whereas a narcissist, they're not going to run, they're not going to leave you. They want to put you in this box so they can torture the crap out of you. In avoidant, they're going to find an excuse and they're going to run. That's the difference. Okay, so another thing avoidant does is their family basically used them and abused them and made them do all the work and, oh, I need your help, I need this, I need you to do this. And so when they finally escape, they're like, screw that, I'm not getting caught up in that guilt trip, that shame need. So here's what they do. They listen to you very, very closely. They're listening for any hint of you trying to get them in other words, they're looking for any hint of neediness. If you're needy, they're like, I'm out of here. And here's what they'll do. They will distort or generalize something you say that has nothing to do with neediness. In fact, you could be expressing independence to them, and they're going to turn it into, oh, they're needy. Yeah, I got to get out of here because I'm not going to get stuck doing all this person's work. Now, here's the deal. All the stuff that I shared with you, from distortions, complex equivalence, mind reading, this is not stuff that most people do consciously at all. It's on a very unconscious level. It's like a program that's running like, oh wait, what did they say? There's a trigger word. Okay, yep, I'm out of this relationship, and they take off. All of this can be healed and cleared. If you need help in any of these areas in your life, get a hold of me. Go to mike@mikekollin.com. Alright guys, if you like this video, please click subscribe, click that bell, go ahead and click the like button, go ahead and make a comment if you like, and remember, as always, you can either make a donation, there's a PayPal link right there in the description box, or buy one of my dating and relationship books to support this channel. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.